Hi everyone, and welcome to an episode of Flawless. My name is Micah and I'm your host. So before we get started with today's episode, I wanted to talk a little bit more about who I am and why I started this podcast. Basically, ever since I was 13 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. And now, as a sophomore in high school, I find myself doing everything I can to learn more about the field of law. But growing up in a family without any lawyers, I've had to rely on things like books, websites, and movies. But at the end of the day, I've learned that talking to a real-life lawyer is something completely different. Hearing first-hand experiences from someone who's already walked the path is so essential in learning about the field that you want to pursue, so in my case, law. This realization has led me to create Flawless, Female Lawyer Lessons. Here in Flawless, I aim to inspire those just like me, individuals who aspire to be a lawyer. In Flawless, I also aim to amplify the voices of female lawyers who go through a male-dominated field. So, together, I hope we can learn more about the advice, the strengths, and the challenges that female lawyers face. And without further ado, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Flawless. So here today I'm joined by Congresswoman Zamora. Do you want to introduce yourself?
So hi everyone, I'm Ysabel Zamora, the Congresswoman of the Lone District of San Juan City in Metro Manila. My friends, my colleagues call me Belle, Kong Belle or Attorney Belle to my constituents as well.
Amazing. So for the young women who are looking to not only be a lawyer but kind of also work as a public servant, I think this episode would be very insightful. I think you're the first person that we've had, and she's been very gracious and offered to. We're actually in the Senate right now, so that's really exciting. But let's get started. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
So my first question is, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and where you started when you were in high school?
Okay, so, I studied high school in Poveda Learning Center, an all-girls school along EDSA in Ortigas. I come from a family of, I wouldn't say politicians, but it was my dad actually who started politics in our family. So my younger sister became a counselor and later on a congresswoman, and my brother is currently the mayor of San Juan City.
Wow.
We are a family who values education, and we think that we can do a lot more by educating ourselves, by doing well in school, in elementary, high school, all the way up to graduate school. So that's what we did. We strived hard in school so that we could achieve what we want to become. As a kid, I was already inclined to become a lawyer because my dad served as my inspiration. He topped the Philippine bar in 1969, if I'm not mistaken. He was magna cum laude, valedictorian all his life. And I was just inspired to follow his footsteps. And at some point, I was also inspired to become a congresswoman.
Amazing.
So, when I took up law in the University of the Philippines, I was already intent on becoming a litigator, someone who practiced in court, someone who attended hearings. That was the kind of practice that I wanted to do. So that's what I did. I joined my dad's firm, but he wasn't active there. So we enjoyed our stay in the law office. I'm still a partner there.
Amazing.
I have a limited practice, so now it's limited to corporate matters, to intellectual property matters.
Wow.
Yes.
So a little bit on intellectual property. That's actually the exact kind of law that I'm planning to go in.
Okay.
So that's amazing. But sorry, I interrupted you.
No. But I worked in a relatively small law firm with, a very family-like, close-knit surroundings, and I guess that's what made my life in the law office bearable.
Yeah. I've heard like a lot of stories from other lawyers tell me kind of like, the horror stories of being in law, but it sounds like you really enjoyed your time, working with your dad. That's very inspiring.
I have a lot of lawyer friends. They would share their stories, but I would always say that our law office is fun. And being with good people makes the legal life more enjoyable.
That's incredible. So so I know that you were really inspired with your dad, so was it you just wanted to be a lawyer all your life?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
More than I wanted to become a politician. In fact, when I started working, that was what I wanted to do my whole life. And I just became a politician in 2022 when my dad retired, and he thought that someone should succeed him, and that someone should be a lawyer who understands legal processes, lawmaking, and who will do good for our constituents in San Juan.
Yeah,
so
I
was really honored that he thought of me that way.
That's incredible. That's a really amazing story, and like I mentioned earlier, it must be really amazing to have someone you already know be in law, because for example for me, a lot of the information I get about law is like from watching Suits or reading books.
Yes.
So that's really incredible. But let's take another little step back. When you were in law school, what was your experience like? What did you enjoy most, or what did you struggle with?
I didn't get very good grades. I was average, but I enjoyed my stay in UP, in UP Law. I was, like I said, I was intent on becoming a lawyer. So I had to go through the terror teachers, the stressful nights of studying. I would study till the wee hours of the morning. For exams, you would have to read so many things, right? Each professor had a different style. Some would demand that there would be nothing on top of the desk. So that means you really would have to study.
Yeah.
And it was something that we had to go through, but if that's your passion, then it would be a breeze.
Amazing. It sounds like you really enjoyed learning about law. I think that's really incredible.
It was difficult.
Yeah.
I had a lot of difficult days. I had professors who picked on me, but it's part of law school. It's part of the training. They said that studying in the University of the Philippines would make you better litigators and lawyers who are aware of daily life. They said that other law schools prepared you for the bar exams, but this one is UP is said to prepare you for litigation, for being in the courts where judges can shout at you, where you can attend and not have a judge in front of you, stuff like that. So I agree that it prepared me and my friends to become litigators. And it was a good experience. I wouldn't say that it was all fun, but it was a good experience. And law school is something that you have to like. I mean, you have to want to be a lawyer to be able to go through law school. Maybe a quarter of us were removed or disappeared after maybe the first year.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they weren't passionate enough to be a lawyer. Some were forced by their parents. I mean, you know, we have all of those stories, right? Some thought that they could go to law school for a change. You won't survive if you don't have the passion to become a lawyer.
Yeah, that's great advice. So after your journey in law school, which sounded, you know, really inspiring and amazing, can you walk me through what you did after when you graduated your degree? And, you know, I'm really interested in your process of becoming an IP lawyer here in the Philippines. What was that?
Okay, so after law school, here we would have to take the bar exams, which would happen a few months after you graduate from law school, assuming you continue with the, you know, that process of going through law school and then the bar exams right away. So bar exams usually happen September, October now. And so right after law school, we had to study daily for the bar exams. And I heard that the Philippines has one of the hardest bar exams. It's a 4-week process, very tedious, very tiring. I mean, I survived.
Yeah.
I did not want to top it. Well, first, of course, I was just an average student. Second, because I didn't want to put so much pressure on myself. Even though my dad topped the bar, I always said that, you know, that's him. He has a photographic memory. I don't have that, right? So I just wanted to become a lawyer. So my goal was really just to pass the bar exams and, you know, do the best I could in the exams. So I passed it. But before I got the results, I already entered our law office as one of the associates. And, well, I've been there since February 2009.
Oh, wow.
So my practice in the law office is really varied. We're a small firm, or a medium-sized firm, and we have we're a full-service firm. That means we have criminal cases, we have civil, family, labor, tax, all of that. And I had a lot of family cases, you know, nullities. I had some adoption, some support cases. I had a few criminal cases, syndicated estafa, some minor ones. And of course, civil, there are corporate civil matters, some problems between companies. I did a lot of corporate work because one of our clients is actually the Philippine Stock Exchange, and I was trained a lot in the work for the stock exchange.
Wow.
So, you know, we did minutes, elections, committee meetings. That's what we did. And I also did some IP work. That was interesting. And well, actually, that was easy compared to that was easy compared to other matters.
I see. It's really cool you got to work on you know, the SEC stuff when you're such a junior lawyer. That's really incredible. So, since you've been working from then all the way till now, can you tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a woman working, or like what it's like to be a woman working in law? Yeah.
You know, I would like to think that women are more careful. Women are more dedicated with the work that they do. So women make great lawyers. I have a lot of friends who are lawyers. My two best friends are lawyers, and you know, we became best friends in law school. One is in corporate she's in a pharmaceutical company. Another is in public service in the Board of Pardons and Parole. And I was the only one who stayed long in a law firm.
Yeah.
So, the three of us have different areas, but we all like what we're doing, and I can see that they're all very hardworking girls. And it's really that commitment to doing something, like, the same commitment that you give to your family, to your children, to your parents, the same commitment that is needed to be a very good lawyer.
Some of the lawyers that I've talked to, have told me about kind of like working in a male-dominated environment. Did you feel like that was the case when you were, even if it was, like your dad was one of the partners there, did you feel that?
Well, that's true. Even our firm is male-dominated, but I didn't feel any problem, any bias, any issue. Well, at least in our firm, we're all close. We're a tight-knit family. I don't know in bigger firms. It's really how the managing partner and the older partners handle life inside the firm. I mean, you have to deal with the partners, the associates, with the staff. And you all have to be one big happy family. You all have to work as a team, or if you have smaller teams, you have to make it work. I think that's a problem with some law firms that have breakaway groups. I mean, we had ours also, but that made us, in fact, stronger as a firm.
Amazing. That's really incredible to hear. I think some women I've talked to, they've talked about how they weren't being treated equally in their law firm, but I think that's not the case for a smaller person like yours. Like, that's great. So my next question would be, what is the biggest lesson you wish a woman my age should think about while pursuing law as a career?
Well, first, you should think about whether you really want to become a lawyer. It's time consuming, it's stressful, it may not pay well. That we would always say that our firm, being a small to medium sized firm, didn't pay well, but it was a good experience, and maybe the less stress of being in a happy firm made up for the
that's something to consider, because I feel
salary.
Like a lot of people my age automatically think that all lawyers are paid very well.
No.
That's very interesting to hear.
In bigger firms are said to have higher salaries. That's not true. I found out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stress in bigger firms.
Yes.
That's what I heard. Definitely, because they make you wait until the wee hours of the morning. That's what I heard. It's a different life, right?
Yeah.
I heard that the government pays better, like working in the Supreme Court or as a fiscal, as a prosecutor, pays better. So, to each his own. I mean, if that's your cup of tea, right?
Yeah.
If being a litigator is your thing, or being someone who works in the Supreme Court or in the Court of Appeals, if that's your thing, then go for it. But you first have to go through law school, and you really have to want to become a lawyer.
Want to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of building on that, what would you say is the best thing about being a lawyer? And, maybe after, what is the worst thing?
I like it that I'm very inquisitive, that even amongst family members, my husband and I, I ask a lot of questions. It's always a fun conversation, but maybe that's the bad side too.
Is your husband also a lawyer?
He is also a lawyer, so we always have our mini quarrels.
Incredible. So that's the best and worst thing you would say.
But okay, it's fun meeting people. It's fun meeting different kinds of lawyers. It's interesting to meet clients. There are cases that you would love, there are cases that you would hate, but everything's an experience. I mean, they all make you, a better lawyer, I guess. We would always say that we charge this to experience. There are clients who don't pay, but you have to do your work, right? Because it's part of our ethics that you're not after the money, right? So you do the job, you finish the pleadings, and then it takes them forever to pay you. I guess it's common in all lawyers, in all law firms. And we charge that to experience.
Amazing. Do you have do you have any kids?
I have one son.
Oh, amazing. So
he's in grade 5.
Okay, so what was it like raising a kid whilst being a lawyer? Because I know a few lawyers that I've talked to who had kids at the same time told me, they had to take a break from their practice for a while, or what's it like? What was it like for you?
I think it was easy, or easier for me compared to the others, because I had a good law office life. I mean, we weren't expected to stay beyond office hours. If you have to leave at 5, go ahead. Sometimes I would leave at 4, sometimes at 6, but I was able to go home by dinner time. I was able to help my son with his assignment, and it's because of our happy work life in our small office. Our mantra there is, you can go home early as long as you do your work, right? So if you want to finish your job at home, that's fine with my boss. If you want to stay all night in the law office, that's fine with the partners, as long as you do your job and you're able to submit it by the time that it's due.
Amazing. So what year did you decide to kind of move more into politics, and why did you choose that?
Okay, so I started going around, started helping people during the pandemic, and that was during my dad's last term as congressman of San Juan. So I was helping out. I was the head of his district office. That means I was the one who would help the constituents when it comes to their financial problems, medical problems. We would issue guarantee letters for them. I was also the one coordinating with the national departments so that we could get more funding for the city. So that was my job as head of the district office. And maybe it's in my blood that we do public service. So that's where I am right now. But I miss legal practice. So once in a while I would have legal aid.
Wow.
In my district.
That's incredible.
I would invite my friends, my friends, the lawyers in my law office, to join me on weekends, and we would give free legal assistance or aid or advice to my constituents.
Wow.
And that's big sense of fulfillment for me. And also for my friends that they're able to help, the less fortunate.
Amazing. That's amazing. Would you have like a specific foundation for that, or was it just something you do?
No, it was just something that I would do. I said when I was running for the first time that I will do legal services, legal aid for constituents so that I can continue my legal practice and at the same time be able to share my knowledge or share our blessings with the less fortunate. It's very difficult to have legal advice when you're poor, when you're less fortunate. And sometimes they don't even have to go to court, but that there's this mindset that when you have a problem, you go straight to the courts, and they worry so much. But if we can help them in any way, right, then that's such a big fulfillment.
I'm actually working this summer to try and develop kind of an AI bot that would help, especially in the Philippines, because I don't know if you've heard about Harvey AI, but they only focus on the US because they only have access to the US database. So I'm actually trying to create and combine all the Philippine databases to create something like that for the Philippines. That way, people have simple questions that they don't need to pay lawyer hours for. They can just ask. But that's amazing. That's an amazing story. So since you've been a congresswoman, what was like that journey been for you?
It's been very interesting, especially these days, no? I said that even if I become a congresswoman, I won't stop learning the law, and I would involve myself in matters that I know something about. So I joined the Committee on Justice, the Committee on Revision of Laws. Of course, I'm part of the Committee on Persons with Disabilities and Women and Gender Equality. And if I can use my being a lawyer to file bills that would aid these committees or the sectors that these committees represent, then that's great, right? So, for example, right now in revision of laws, I'm the head of the subcommittee that is revising the revised penal code, the penal code of the Philippines. I thought that it's something that we should do as a lawyer, and I thought that it's something that is very timely and something that we should pass the soonest. So we've been busy with that, and it's been very interesting because not a lot of congressmen are lawyers, and especially in times like this where we have the impeachment proceedings, then it's our time to shine.
Kind of talking, because I know you are quite involved with the upcoming impeachment proceedings. But before we kind of like talk about the political side, can you explain what impeachment is? Because I feel like a lot of people are very not really educated on what the true meaning is.
Yes. So impeachment is a process wherein we exact accountability from certain high-ranking officials of the government. While we normally file cases before the office of the ombudsman for investigation, and these cases are usually filed with the Sandigan Bayan or the Graft and Corrupt Practices Court. Impeachment is a process wherein you exact accountability from the president, from the vice president, from the justices of the Supreme Court. There are several constitutional officials where impeachment may be had. And it's really to protect the institution where that official is heading it, right? So there are certain grounds for impeachment, and these are stated in the Constitution. Betrayal of public trust, high crimes. These are all stated there, and I think the framers of the Constitution really made it as vague as possible, so that there will be leeway for those who will file it. The impeachment is a political legal case. It's a political legal process. Sometimes they say it's a political legal administrative process. We always say that it is sui generis, or it's in a class of itself. It's because while there are some legal steps that we have to go through, it's really political in nature, such that when it goes to trial in the Senate, the senators don't really look at the evidence. Although we expect them to look at the evidence, right? My job as one of the prosecutors is to present the evidence against the respondent. But senators can vote based on their own free will, based on their political alliances, based on their constituents' leanings. So for us, for the prosecutors, it's actually a difficult job. Very difficult job, because how do you convince the senators, right? Especially now, here where we have a very sharp divide amongst the senators. So what we intend to do is to go through the legal process, present our evidence like we would do in court, but also appeal to the public. Show to the public that we have a case against the respondent, and in this case against the vice president, and these are the pieces of evidence that we have, but at the same time appeal to them so that they would maybe convince their senators that there is a case against the vice president.
So we took a little break, but we're back now. But the question I was about to ask is, so you are a female lawyer in one of the country's most watched legal or political proceedings.
Yes.
What pressure comes with that, and what gives you steadiness?
Okay, it is very stressful for us, to be part of the impeachment. There's a lot of bad fake press, trolls in social media. We have a lot of that. But it gives me courage that a lot of people actually want accountability. A lot of people are trying their best to understand the process. And when I go around in San Juan, I meet with constituents, I feel hopeful when I hear them say, Kong Bell, I saw your interview. Kong Bell, you said something nice. Kong Bell, you look good. I mean, it just means that they're aware, right? They're aware of the proceedings. Or they would say, Kong Bell, I saw Chairwoman Jinky or Prosecutor so-and-so. That means they're watching, they're aware. And I believe that the awareness now is higher than the awareness last year. Last year, they couldn't explain what the impeachment was, no matter how much we explained it. We had the first impeachment against a vice president last year, and well, that failed. But now I'm very hopeful, and that gives us courage to study for the proceedings. That gives us courage to go through, the daily processes that we're doing right now. Our colleagues are probably on their trips right now, but we're here in Congress studying, meeting with our private lawyers so that we can present our best case before the Senate when trial comes.
Amazing. That's really inspiring to hear that, more people in not only like the younger generations but around the Philippines are being more aware.
Yes.
I remember, I think I was on a run just 2 days ago and I saw a bunch of protests about holding accountability. So that's really amazing to see, the country is all kind of united in this. So when this case is over, whatever the outcome, what do you hope young women who want to become lawyers will learn from watching you and the other lawyers handling this?
I hope that they will learn that whether you're in the private sector or in the public sector, being a lawyer means that you have to give back to the public, to the people. And lately I've been saying this phrase, it's always para sa bayan, for the country, for the people. So whatever we do, whether we are lawyers or not, we should do it for our country. And that's the only reason why we're doing this.
What is a message you would want people to know about, this case, or coming from you, about your life, but the people watching?
This case isn't something personal for me, in the sense that I am not doing this because I don't like the vice president or what. It's not personal, it's not political, but it's our job as congresswomen, as prosecutors, as congressmen, to do our best as prosecutors. When this was filed, we said that it was our job to hold hearings. And we had to say that every day because people said that we were just, politicizing everything. But it was our duty, and it's stated in the Constitution. Once a complaint is filed, you have to see the end of it, right? So it's the same with this next stage of the impeachment process, which is going through trial. We have to see the end of it because that's our duties under the Constitution. And we have to exact accountability from people who are leading us. I mean, how will you inspire others when all of this mess, mess is happening in the Senate? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the House of Representatives, right? But we have to bring back the dignity of our institutions, and we have to be able to show the younger generation that they can join government, and there are a lot of people in government who are doing a good job.
That's incredible. Kind of going on the flip side of that, what do you think is like a misconception about this impeachment case that you would want to correct? I
think the biggest misconception is that we prosecutors are against that one family, the Dutertes. And this is not about them. This is not about us versus the Dutertes. It's really about exacting accountability. And if the case were filed against the president or a Supreme Court justice or whoever, then we will go through the same process. Okay, so this is not against a particular family. We just want to see that the accountability process that is stated in our Constitution works, and that we will make sure that we follow the Constitution.
It's amazing, yeah. I think that's something everyone should remember at the end of the day, that it's not against like a person, it's more about bringing justice. And,
yes, that's correct.
That's amazing. Well, we can begin to wrap up. So maybe, my last few questions will be about, are there any last messages you want to say about your experience about being a female lawyer? And yeah.
Well, this is for you.
Any lessons you would want to share?
For whoever wants to become a lawyer, I really hope that that is really your passion, that you really want to become a lawyer, and just do your best. Just study smart, not study so hard that you would be so stressed, right? But just enjoy, even though it's difficult to enjoy the whole process of studying for law, but just enjoy. There's a lot of fun experiences that you will have in law school.
Amazing. Well, it's been so amazing to speak with you. I think this is one of the coolest experiences I've had, speaking to such a high-level lawyer, and someone who's going to be at the front of the Duterte impeachment case, which I think is happening the beginning of it is happening in a few days.
We're doing the best that we can. We have meetings every day. We're filing pleadings. It's rolling.
In the impeachment case, how many female lawyers are on the
We have team? 4
out of
11.
Wow, okay, that's amazing.
Not so bad.
Yeah. That's really inspiring to hear, actually, that there is a growing acceptance of female lawyers. Well, thank you so much for having the time to meet with me. It was incredible to hear your story. I'm definitely more motivated to really be passionate about when I go to law school and stuff. So that will conclude today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much.
Good luck in the proceedings going forward in the case. I'll be watching because I'm very interested now, and I think it's important for the younger generation to be more informed and more participative of what's going on, because I think nowadays we just consume the fake, sometimes the fake media that's on TikTok or Instagram, whatever is just easiest. But now we've gone straight from the source to really understand what impeachment is. So that's incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And that'll conclude today's episode. Thank you.
Thank you.